You know, I think it's really unfair that I have to have an entire pot of coffee and like 3 energy drinks just to make it to noon. But then my kid can have 4 Skittles and be up for 9 days. I'm exhausted. So it's 2021 and people are still saying that there is no God. That's right. People are still claiming that God does not exist, there is no God, and that they are representing atheists to the 9th degree. Whatever that means, I think I just made that up. You know what else is made up? Atheists. That's right. Atheists are made up too. Because there is no way in this world that there is anybody who is stupid enough to actually believe in their heart of hearts that God does not exist. Seriously. And you know what? Before you get all grumpy with me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm just being a mean Christian, guess what? Before I was a Christian, you know what I used to tell people I was? An atheist. That's right. I've been in your shoes. I laced them up. I ran with them. But now, I took them off. Kind of like Mr. Rogers. I got some new shoes on. Got them Jesus shoes on. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. So, let's go into a little bit of story time, kids, shall we? And I'll explain how I went from being an atheist to a Christian. So first off, my whole friends and family I grew up with are going to look at me right now going, what, you didn't believe in God? You were a good Christian. See, I never said that when I was a kid, or when I was in high school, or when I was in college. Never said that. When people asked me if I was a Christian, I would tell them I went to church. See, there's a difference. I was magnificent at playing church. See, playing church is when you go to church because it's like the thing to do and it looks good, even though you are not listening or following along to anything and you have no idea what's going on in the building. You're just there for the show and for the looks, and you're getting nothing out of it. And when people want to ask you about your faith, all you have to do is say, hey, I go to church. Hey, you can't talk like that. Oh, it's okay. I go to church. Hey, you can't look at stuff like that. Oh, it's okay, man. I go to church. But then again, when people would really push me, impress me about my beliefs, I would finally have to just tell them, look, I'm an atheist. And so they would be like appalled, like, oh my goodness, you don't believe in God? And I'd be like, yep, don't believe in God. No God exists. I'm an atheist. That's right. And people would just be in shock and awe, but they would move on. But even in that claim, that was a lie. And it's the same lie that all you other people who claim to be atheists are lying about. You are trying to tell people that there is no God, and you are lying to everybody, and you're lying to yourself. The truth of the matter is, what an atheist is actually going through is 2 things. Actually, one of these 2 things, and that is, 1, you don't want to follow God's commands. That's it. You don't want to follow God's commands. They don't fit with your lifestyle. You don't think they're fair. You don't like them. That's it. So you just tell people you're an atheist and there is no God, because for you, that's just simple. Because you trying to tell me that there's no God is a lie, and you know that. And we've all gone through this, so please let's not go through it again. Okay, whatever. How was the world created? The Big Bang Theory or God? Well, the people that did the Big Bang Theory. Okay, you want to follow that theory? What made the explosion? Well, I don't know. Well, it'd have to be something greater than ourselves. Yeah, that's called God. What about that voice you hear inside yourself? Oh, that's your conscience. Really? No, that's the voice of God. So God does exist. Let's stop playing with it. So you tell people you're an atheist because you don't like God's law. You don't like his rules. Again, they don't fit with what you want to do. Whatever. So that's why you're saying you're an atheist. The other one is what I fell into back in the day, and that is I was angry at God. That's right. You're angry at God, so you're telling people that there is no God and you're an atheist. Just like when you're mad at your girlfriend and try to tell people she doesn't exist anymore. Okay? Same thing, different level of craziness. There is a God, and what it is you're mad at him. And I can relate because I was in that category. So you're mad at God. Why are you mad at God? I don't know. You wanted to get a promotion and you prayed to God and you didn't get it, so now you're mad at God. You got abused as a child and now you're mad at God. You wanted your team to win the Stanley Cup and they didn't, now you're mad at God. So you know what? You're an atheist. There is no God. Again, lying to yourself. Now, how can I relate to that? Like I just said, I was the option 2 guy. I walked around my whole life mad at God. Why? Because I was abused as a child. And again, not going to go into the details, not going to depress your day, but I was abused as a child. So I didn't have any interest in God because he let that happen to me. Then, as I got older, I got in a really severe car accident and it just destroyed my chances of a basketball career. Not the fact that I didn't really have a good jump shot, but you know what? It was easier for me to blame God. So you know what? I was mad at God for ruining my basketball career, and I was mad at God for letting me get abused as a child. And then, when I got older, my mother was suicidal and took her life. So now there is no God because he wouldn't have let all this stuff happen to me. So I'm just bitter and mad, and so I'm an atheist. So you know what I did? Little backstory here. I'm a retired horrorcore rapper. What's horrorcore? It's like Insane Clown Posse or Tech 9, early Tech 9 that is. Basically I talk about, I used to rap about murdering and stabbing people. Basically anything you would see in like a horror movie, but put a beat to it. So I did that for 10 years. I don't know, sold like 100,000 records. Anyways, long story, future me. Anyways, so that's what I was doing. And I got really, really into like this dark stuff. Like I was trying my best to get away from God as much as I could. That's what I was trying to do. I didn't know at the time, but that's what I was trying to do. So I got really into the horrorcore music, and I got really into scary movies and horror movies and slasher films, and I was just really into the darkness. And you know what? I felt I was as far away from God as I could be. I mean, I was in the dark side. But you know what ended up happening? And you're going to laugh at this. And a lot of people are going to be surprised. They're going to think me being a Prince fan that, it was Prince's music, because, him talking about God and stuff that led me on the path to God. But you know what? It wasn't. I had really, went deep into the darkness of anything evil. And that's where I was staying at. But even in that evil, surrounded by all that darkness, denying God's existence, even though I'm just technically just mad at him, I go out and at the time I get the new release of Insane Clown Posse's album, The Wraith. This is the final album in their storyline of the Dark Carnival and how they've been following the Dark Carnival, and now it's going to reveal to them the meaning of the Dark Carnival. So I'm excited. I get the album, I put it in there, every track, I'm loving it, loving it. Get to the last song where they unveil what the hidden meaning is, and you know what they say? They say that the Dark Carnival is God, and may all of us find God. Can you believe that? I did everything I could to get away from God. I was in so much dirt and darkness and filth, and he still found me. And honestly, because I'm hard-headed, I didn't magically just become a Christian that day. It was a couple years after that, but it put me on the path to building a relationship with God that eventually led to me becoming a Christian. And when I became a Christian, all the pain that was prescribed to me all started making sense. And I started to use that pain that I experienced to help other people who weren't strong enough to go through similar pain, to help them go through it. So God was building me up that whole time, but I was too much into myself to understand that. So yeah, these guys, these foul-mouthed grown men with potty humor who dress up as killer clowns are the reason I'm a Christian today. Because God will use anything and everything to bring you home. The problem with both reasons for people claiming to be atheists, understand the laws of God or being mad at God, is that you're trying to understand the complexity of an architect, of a being greater than yourself. You're trying to understand this with your human mind, your flesh that's constantly trying to fight for your soul. You're not going to get all the answers. You're going to have to go and lean on something called faith.